Okay, Robbie's gonna go next.
Let's think this through.
I'm Rob. But you
Rob.
can
Hi,
call
Rob.
me Robbie. And I'm one of a long line of Robbies. One of whom was a Victoria Robbie. He was Robert Service.
Yes.
Any of you don't know Robert Service, I brought a picture, courtesy of our folks
We know him.
at Phillips Brewing. So Robert Service was a poet very much in the line of Robbie Burns. He was a Scottish poet, came to Canada. He was a adventure seeker. He was a bank teller here in Victoria, hence
Barden
the
Banker.
Barden Banker here in Victoria. This is all
Tarts and wankers.
long-winded way of introducing this poem, which is written by another unknown Scottish Robbie. But it's basically dedicated to my father, who was a RCMP officer in Canada's North. So he passed away a couple months ago, but he left with me a fondness for a strong drink
Yes.
and a love of Scottish poetry.
Yeah.
So I thought I should probably write something that is fitting in the style of maybe not Robbie Burns, but at least Robert Service. And it should involve things that we see in, I don't know, the shooting of Dan McGrew, which is set in a bar, or we should see it in the cremation of Sam McGee, which is everlasting life through things magical. And this is it. This is it. And it's called The Return of Mukluk Mike. Well, a bunch of us boys were making some noise in the Yellowknife Saloon. Went into the shop, watched a grizzled old cop, and he fell with a giant swoon. The room grew dim at the sight of him lying there in his crimson serge, and the smell, it was rank, it was damp and dank, and I damn near had to purge. Then the Mountie rose in his tattered clothes, and lo, he began to speak. And his words were true, which I share with you, but Lord, his voice was weak. Excuse me, chaps. Do you think perhaps you could spare a small liqueur? A wee gold nip that I used to sip when I did my northern tour. For 50 years I've dallied with beers and many a homemade brew, but none can replace the warmth and taste of the jug you call Drambu. Well, we tasked ourselves and we searched the shelves, but we didn't find the name. So we poured an ale, it was golden pale, and hoped it was just the same. Oh, he coughed and spat at the taste of that, and his face grew awful sore. And horrified, we almost cried as he dumped it on the floor. No, that won't do, boys. I'm telling you, the stuff was sweet and strong, and it slaked your thirst, and it made you burst with a life and a living long. Oh, this amber dram I used to slam when I was Mukluk Mike had a charming spell that I'm here to tell exceeded the whole Klondike. I never aged, though the battle raged to hasten me to my grave. Forever young, I held my tongue, and I never told a knave. So many a mug I used to slug, and many a dram I quaffed, till I moved away. And from that day, my dear old bones grew soft. Now I ventured far, and I left my car in the shoe swap by the lake. By the foot I've come, for to find me some of the drink I used to take. With his final word, the bar room blurred, and he crumpled to the floor. So for pity's sake, we'd undertake to search a little more. On a shelf, half hid by a jam jar lid, we spotted the letter D, and there, in the back, in the shadows black, was the golden Drambuie. We grabbed a cup and we sat him up and he poured the liquor in, and his eyes grew wide as he warmed inside, and he said with a boyish grin, "Yes, that's the stuff, and it sure enough is a breath of vitality. So I'll drink your health and I'll wish you wealth with this bottle of Drambuie." Well, with a youthful bound, he left the ground, and he danced into the street, and he bounced on down to the edge of town, like springs were in his feet. Well, life goes on, but the jug is gone, and we're sitting and a wondering like, whatever became of the weary and lame Mountie called Mukluk Mike.